Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and tonight we're going to take a look at another pair of AirPod clones. These are called the i11s or the i11 5.0s, and they're available right now from the spinningdeal.com for right around $35. So I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in checking them out. So let's go ahead and start off a comparison with the actual AirPods from Apple by talking about the price. So first of all, the Apple AirPods, super popular. That is for a reason, because they are very good. They've been out for quite a while now, and the AirPods 2 are soon to be released, but as of right now, the AirPods are still the best option if you have an iPhone, and they're available for $160, so pretty pricey. They're definitely more expensive true wireless earbuds out there, but they're definitely a little bit pricey. So the i11s obviously are a much more budget-friendly option. Like I said, these are available for $35, and we'll talk about some of the things you maybe lose as a result of getting the cheaper option. So first things first, these are technically kind of like AirPod clones in that they are designed to look a lot like AirPods, but you'll notice that the case is a little bit bigger. The AirPod case is actually a little bit more glossy as well, but in terms of the actual design, you can see they definitely mimic the design, but you can see that it's definitely taller. Looks like a little bit thicker as well, maybe a little bit wider, but they definitely did a pretty decent job of mimicking the actual look of the AirPod case, whereas with their i10s, so these are also sold on the spinningdeal.com, these actually are the exact same size as the actual AirPod case. So this is the i10 case, and these use Type-C, whereas these use obviously Lightning, and then the i11s, as you can see right down here, they also use a Lightning cable. So it does come with a Lightning cable in the case as well. Okay, so the case is a little bit bigger, obviously, than the real AirPods, and I'm actually going to bring these up here in just a second. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual earbuds. So this is a i11, this is an actual AirPod. So you can see that they try to do a decent job of mimicking what the AirPods look like. Again, if you want an exact replica, the i10s do a much better job of actually replicating the exact look of the AirPods. So this is an i10, this is an AirPod. So you can see the i10 TWSs are definitely a lot more AirPod clones than these ones here. So these ones, they're similar, definitely very similar design, but obviously a little bit bigger. One obvious place that they're bigger is in the actual size. So you can see these are just a little bit longer stem there. And yeah, so that is the design. Now let's go ahead and talk about the functionality. So in terms of sound quality, I always think that the AirPods are actually pretty decent. A lot of people don't necessarily like them simply because of the fact that they don't have any kind of noise isolation. So obviously with any kind of AirPod clone, you're not going to get that as well. But overall, the sound quality of the AirPods is pretty darn good. I'd give them like a 4.2 out of 5. That's generally what I say, because they're a solid B. They're not the most amazing as far as sound quality, but still very good in my opinion. The i11s, I would definitely say, are a little bit below that. I would give the i11s more like a 4, maybe a 3.8 out of 5, so just below a 4. So they're still solid. They're not bad at all when it comes to the sound quality. Decent lows, not the best lows, but decent, and the sound is pretty clear. Not a whole lot of mud in the sound, whereas these are very clear. And the i10s, I'd actually say, are more like a 4 to 4.2, so they're much closer in terms of the actual sound quality to the actual AirPods. Alright, so sound quality wise, definitely not as good, but still very acceptable, especially at that $37 price point. So you can see right there. Now there are actually discounts, so if I have any discounts, I'll leave those down in the description as well. Alright, so one of the things that sets the AirPods apart from a lot of other true wireless earbuds is their connectivity. So one of the things that makes them so fantastic is that as soon as you pull them out of the case, you can see that they're going to give you this little drop down here on your iPhone. They're going to tell you the battery level, and then as soon as I pull them out of here, they're instantly going to connect up to my iPhone. And if I have a Apple Watch like I do, it easily goes back and forth between the two, so I can be wearing the AirPods, switch between my iPhone and my Apple Watch with no problem whatsoever. Now that is a fantastic feature of the AirPods. Now the i11s actually have a similar situation here, so I'm going to go ahead and put them back in the case and show you how these connect up. Now in terms of connectivity, the Apple Apple AirPods, the distance, the range you can get away from a phone is like 30 to 50 meters. It's really, really good when it comes to the range you get in terms of connectivity, and they never disconnect from each other. I've never had that situation, so that's really good as well. Same thing here. These are using Bluetooth 5.0, which is why they're called the i11 5.0. So connectivity is pretty darn good, which means that the two earbuds stay connected very well. However, the range is not as good as what you get on the AirPods. So like I said, 30 to 50 meters connected up to my iPhone, whereas with these, I'm getting more like 10 to 15 meters. They say 15 to 20, but I'm getting more like 10 to 15. Once I get about 10 meters away, I'm definitely starting to lose some connectivity to my device. But this little button back here is what's going to connect them up. So this is going to tell them that they need to connect up. And when you see here, there's a little red light indicating, so that's actually charging them as well. And then I pull them out. You can see they'll blink for a little bit in color. And once they do that, they will go ahead and connect up. So they should be connected here. If they're not connected now, they will be connected quite soon. Although I think, yep, there we go. All right, so definitely not as fast as what you get with the AirPods, but still, it's immediate connectivity. You don't actually have to like do anything to connect them up. As soon as you pull them out of the case, basically you just hit that little blue button, or that little button, it'll light blue, and then you can pull them out of the case and they're connected up. So that is really awesome. Now, the first time you connect them up, obviously you have to search for them, but every time after that, basically you just hit that button, pull them out, and you're good to go. Now, when you're done with them, you can just set them back in and hit the button again, and it's going to charge them up. So that is one thing that you do have to do every time, is you actually have to charge them up. Whereas with the AirPods, basically you set them in the case, they're automatically going to charge every single time, so you don't have to hit any buttons or anything like that. So connectivity-wise, i11s, they're okay. Definitely not as good as what you get with the i10s, and certainly not as good as what you get with the Apple AirPods. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the battery life on the i11s versus the Apple AirPods. So this is definitely no question the AirPods are the clear winner here. So these get about 5 hours of battery life and another 4 charges in here in the case. So a total of 25 hours, so 5 in the case plus another 20 that you're going to get with the actual AirPod case. So fantastic, about total of 25 hours of battery life here. On the i11s, they say 2 to 3 hours of battery life, but typically I'm getting more towards like the 2-hour range on battery life with these. So battery life is only okay. Certainly 3 hours would be even better. 5 hours, obviously, even better. But 2 hours is only okay, I would say. For me, that's kind of on the low end of what I like. I personally like at least 3 hours of battery life. So these are kind of on that low end. And then in terms of actual charges in the case, you get about 4 charges in the case. So when you consider the fact that you're getting 4 charges in the case plus about 2 to 3 hours of battery life per charge, you're looking at about 10 hours of battery life total with the i11s. 5.0. Now the i10s, so these again are another AirPod clone, and definitely for me personally, I would prefer the i10s over the i11s. And these get closer to around 15 hours of total battery life, or maybe just under that, more like 12 hours of battery life total. So maybe just slightly better than what you get on the i11s, but not by a whole lot. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is the call quality on these two pairs of earbuds. So the Apple AirPods definitely have fantastic call quality. I always say like a 9 out of 10 when it comes to call quality. Now mine have actually diminished slightly after a long time of having them, and that's actually because this one got ran over by a car. Literally, it got ran over by a car. I accidentally dropped it one day, didn't even realize it, out of my pocket, and got ran over by a car. Since then, it hasn't been quite as good with call quality, but still, I can still use them with no problem. The i11s, I'm going to give these like a 6.5 out of 10. So if those are 9 out of 10, these are like a 6.5 out of 10, because you do get to hear the person out of both earbuds, so that's a good thumbs up. Not just one, you're going to hear them out of both. And you can use one at a time, so if you choose to just pull one out of the case, you can just use one earbud at a time, so that's also good. You can do the same thing with the Apple AirPods. However, I will mention the i10s, you don't have that option, so you either listen to both of them or neither of them with the i10s. Now, so that's an advantage of the i11s. Another thing worth mentioning about the i11s is the fact that they do have microphones on both of them, so that's cool. So we do have microphones coming from both earbuds, so that's going to help out with a little bit of noise isolation, but still definitely nothing like what you get with the Apple Apple AirPods or even the i10. So when it comes to the i10s, I'd actually say these are definitely in the middle between these two in terms of call quality. So these are like a 9 out of 10. I'd give these like a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10, and these are more like a 6.5 out of 10. So they're usable, but I definitely wouldn't recommend them in a noisy environment for call quality, simply because the person on the other end will be able to hear what's going on around you with the i11s. Alright, so let's go ahead and conclude this video with something that's probably quite obvious, and that is, without question, the Apple AirPods are the best, and there's a reason why these things are constantly being cloned by a number of different companies. There's a reason why they're the best sellers on places like Best Buy, and that's because they're really darn good. Now, the i11s, are they a good alternative? I would say, yeah. Are they ones that I would recommend over other pairs? Certainly. If you've been watching this video, you probably noticed that my preference is 100% with the i10s. If you're going to get a pair of Apple AirPod clones, I would highly recommend the i10s over the i11s, or another pair that I previously reviewed. These are the AirPods 4 from a company called WeWoo. There's no question in my mind that the i10s up to this point are still the best. These are IP67 water resistant, which you don't get here on the i11s. They can also wirelessly charge on top of a wireless charger if you have that, and they charge up via Type-C as well. So in every way, I would definitely say the i10s beat the i11s. They are a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth the extra price. So again, quick shout out to thespinningdeal.com, where you can pick up both the i10s or the i11s. Not these guys, you can't pick these up. Now, also, I will mention, very soon to come, I will also be covering a couple other pairs you see here. So these are the i51s, which are supposed to be more like the i10s. So we'll be checking those out here in a little bit. So check that out in a very near future video. Thanks for watching. Hope this video has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.